That's your paradise? Birds of Paradise? That's
Yes,
nightmare
my-
fuel.
what do
That's
you
like
mean, a
Alfred
fool?
Hitchcock.
You're taking that game a little bit more seriously.
I'm going to be the guy to tangent off of, even though I'm supposed to keep us on track here. Welcome to WWB, Ward Wide Broadcast. This is episode 51 of the podcast, and today we have a special guest. This is Evan from Big Top Games. He threw on a tournament in Georgia. Yes, nice to meet you, Evan. For Ward, he was the first person in Georgia that I'm aware of that threw on a live Ward tournament at his shop. We had Chandler on a past episode who talked about his experience, but now we were able to finally get on Evan himself to talk more just about his store and just kind of their commitments to Ward. And obviously all the other things that Evan, has going on at his store too. We want to make sure we give him that space to promote. But we're definitely going to ask him some questions and basically just, kind of get an inside view on what it looks like for a store owner as someone who's, purchasing interested in Ward, so they can kind of give his take on it and things. But obviously I also have my co-host Tyler and Billy here. They're ready to have some questions and get it going. So with that, Evan, I guess maybe just give us a little spiel of how you found Ward and how you got into it, if you could.
Hey, thanks so much, Harry. So how I found Ward and just like the whole Ward story is it starts off not so glamorous. You know what I mean? Well, and it starts off more about my game shop than about Ward. 'Cause like and there's a little bit of like personal backstory I have to give you guys here. So I don't like being a game store owner was really like if you asked me like 4 months ago if I thought this was ever going to be a thing, I'd be like, "What the heck are you talking about?" Because I've been a circus arts instructor for like 15 years. I teach acrobatics and aerial arts like you would see in Cirque du Soleil, and I teach them to all ages, and I teach it all the way up to the highest levels. I have professional athletes all the way to like 75-year-old PT customers, and
Definitely separates
but I'm
from
a
card games. Yeah, I would say definitely a different
yeah,
field
no,
entirely.
believe me, I hadn't even opened a pack of Pokemon in like 15 years, dude. Like as of like 5 months ago. But I got this. I've been a passionate nerd the whole time. And when I say a passionate nerd, I mean, if I wasn't in a circus gym, like I was reading something nerdy, doing something nerdy, playing something nerdy.
I'm sure we can
And
all
then
relate
my,
with that for sure. I've
yeah,
definitely
that's right. I
we
mean,
got our nerd
I mean,
side to us.
and my wife told me, she said, you can't play games every night. And I was like, what if I monetize it?
A
What
great
if it's
question.
my job? No, but essentially, I had a lot of personal reasons why I decided I was going to try to open a game store for my town because I really felt like we needed it. We're like way out here in the sticks, and there's a lot of us guys my age and younger people and older people that don't have community and don't have a space to meet up and play games. And they're we're all getting older, and our wives don't want our nerd friends over at our house every night, and we just needed a community space to be able to hang out and unwind, and so that was my primary motivator.
You're checking
Now
all
on
the
to Ward.
boxes, the wife sounds like she's pretty happy after this whole thing.
That's right. That's right. So then when I'm doing my initial round of like buying stuff for the shop, I knew that the kind of store I wanted to be is I wanted to have everything. I wanted to have really obscure and interesting, new stuff you'd never heard of. Like, of course, I want to have Magic the Gathering and Pokemon and Dungeons and Dragons. I love those things as much as the next guy. But I wanted to also have Neopets and all these weird other TCGs, and Ward was one that made it onto under my eye. And actually, it was the one when I made that first order for like new stuff, and it had just like probably a dozen weird TCGs in it. Ward was the one that I was personally excited to see because I had looked at the website and it had this really interesting poppy website with like a lot of cool. And then I saw that it
So
had dice and D&D elements, and that really attracted me. And
So Evan, was it
Um,
like a catalog, or what do you mean? Like there was just a bunch of TCGs, or did you just like start
oh,
ordering, just getting a hold of everybody to order them? I'm curious.
no, so actually, we can thank Southern Hobby for that, which Ward does some distribution through them. And so when I was opening a game store, I actually didn't know much about TCGs. I mean, I played Magic the Gathering, but I didn't know much about like the industry. And so
Right.
I spent hours just like scrolling through stuff that was on Southern Hobby, and I was lucky enough that they had some in stock when I first opened my shop, like because they never did again. Like, and I ordered like once through them, and then every order I've made since then was directly from the Word team. But
Right. And how was your experience with that? I'm just kind of curious, Now, so this is kind of your entry into like what Ward is. Like you said, you checked out the website. I mean, is that what really caught your eye when you were like looking at Ward that was like, oh yeah, this is something worth pursuing and worth going after?
I mean, if I'm honest, I didn't even check all those boxes. Ward made it into the cart because it was available and it was cool and it was colorful. That was a big deal. And it was a different tone than the other 11 things in my cart.
Hmm.
But here's the thing, right? Is of all 12 of those things that I threw at the wall, Ward was the only one that stuck.
Hmm.
And that was because the gameplay was good, cards were beautiful. It started with just the cards are beautiful. Guys would come in and be like, "What's that
Yeah.
one?" Because the packs looked good, and I would be like, "Dog, those are fire."
I think you agree with our
'Cause
community. Our community agrees too. I think that's probably the number one thing I hear a lot of people say is just the artwork. Like that's the thing that really just gets everybody into the game.
yeah, it started there, and then oh, and you know what? There was another really crucial element to making Ward actually stick, which there was one guy in town, uh, the winner of my first tournament, Matt Littrell. He had actually been a fan of Ward for like, he has first edition cards, and
That's so
and he's
crazy.
just down here in Georgia. I don't know how he found the game, but he walked in one day. He was like, "You have Word?" And I was like, "You know what that is?"
That's
And
crazy.
and it was really having just that one player that was so excited to see them in the shop.
Hmm.
And then it was really easy to connect that player with a second player. And then I was like kind of the third piece of glue because I was really personally interested in it. And then once I got in contact with the ward staff and it became like more fun and we had more people involved, it's just been absolutely unstoppable since.
Hmm.
And I appreciate that so much from the team and from the community. It's been really cool.
No, yeah.
That's kind of the whole.
I don't know. I think that was a great intro. I mean, for us, I mean, we've all have our stories of how we gotten into Ward, but I mean, like you said, I think it's definitely one of those things when none of us have owned a card store, so it's like, oh yeah, just kind of hearing it's like, hey, or what exactly is that experience? I'm sure a lot of people can't really relate to you. I will say there's only so many card store owners, then there definitely is more people who just I'm a collector and I happen to come across this game, and for you too, it's like down in Georgia, like. You're definitely probably like one of the few people that I've talked to that it's like, oh yeah, like you were just like, here, let me get into this, and no one really had to like try to like push you to be like, yeah, let's start playing War. But I'm glad it picked up, and like I just love the fact that you said it's like all the things that I kind of caught my eye with playing the game caught your eye. I'm sure Billy and Tyler have very similar stories. It's just like that the imagery, all the things on the card, just how it pops out to you when you're like looking at it. I think that just really goes to show like how much the ward staff like put into those attention to details that really just help their game stand out.
Yeah.
How about you and Tyler, Billy? You guys got a question for Evan before we move on with just the origin story of Ward at Big Top Games?
I mean, I definitely like that story just because it's like you get to see the growth of the game through the store as well as your store growing with the game, which is kind of cool. But I guess I didn't have any questions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would have put my weight behind any game that stuck because I was really trying hard to show a lot of these players that there's these other really cool games because I'm just a game enthusiast. I'm really passionate. I mean, God, I'll read the rules to a weird board game that I'm not going to play just because I'm interested in how they design the mechanics behind it. And so I've been really motivated to try to share that with people and help some of these guys see that they can actually be competitive. Like things like Magic the Gathering are so saturated with players and players that have a ton of money, players that have been doing it for 20 years. And that's not to say that people can't be competitive, but it's just a really steep curve. And it's a lot of commitment. It's like if I want to say to myself, "Oh, I'm going to be a competitive Magic the Gathering player," like my intellect alone is just not enough. And I like that some of these new games, if you're just a good player of games, then you can kind of come right in and be competitive with other good players of games and find yourself like winning some cool tournaments, having a lot of fun, being really proud and confident of yourself for making some accomplishments, and like it's just not as much of a beatdown as things like Magic the Gathering or Lorcana even. They're just saturated with like min maxers and people that have enough time to read about it for 80 hours a day and
No,
stuff
that's
like
fair.
that.
I mean,
Right.
I will say, Evan, you are talking to three very competitive people, and I think at some point we all probably look at Ward and definitely want it to maybe get to that point that you're talking about. That might be like you're like, oh no, I don't want the game to get to there, but we all kind of probably do. Where we want, at least for me, it's like at this moment, it's like I feel like there isn't too much content being put out
Well,
of Ward, but it's like it
the
will
nice
get
thing
to there.
about that, though is like obviously up here we've had the game more competitively for a lot more time, and because of that time we've grown and had the time to, look at this stuff for 80 hours and slowly build up to where we are now. We're in Georgia, like Billy was talking about earlier. I'm interested to see with Evan about what kind of stuff is being played there, because I'm sure it's completely different than what we obviously see up here.
Hmm.
Yeah, there is a big change. And I want just a small clarification there, because like I think what I mean by, you know, with Magic, like intellect maybe not being quite enough is like, there's just that the card set is so massive, like I build
Yeah.
commander decks and it's like just, I mean, thousands and thousands of cards and combinations. I mean, Ward has that too, but it's a slightly narrower set because it's a newer game. So it's just a little bit easier to like, come in at an entry level right now and like kind of catch up to where some people are at, and at least be maybe a little bit competitive. I mean, I'm pretty sure, there's still a pretty wide skill gap between a person that's been playing for a month and a person that's been playing for a year. But um, I still find that even these guys in the shop, I see them like just playing really well, really quick. Versus, I see some Magic the Gathering players in here that these guys are just never going to beat, stuff like that. So.
Well, I think Casey at one time posted that there's what 30,000 different cards in Magic the Gathering, versus obviously Ward is now just getting up to 450. So yeah, much
Yeah,
easier to understand.
some of the reasons I like playing it is because with a narrower card set, I can really kind of crunch that and kind of sit there and kind of think of different combinations and I don't feel like I'm missing something all the time. You know what I mean?
It brings up an interesting question. I mean, we always talk a lot about like release dates and like how quick should the game be released, like new sets and things. What camp do you feel like maybe Evan you kind of sit at where it's like how do you feel like maybe like Ward in itself has a good release date as it stands? Obviously, we all have kind of been waiting for Gen 3. Obviously, it's been
Mhm.
over a year, and I think maybe that's a little too long. But it's like if you give a card game like or a set a year, it's like do you think people really can like flush it out and like get it to a point where it's like oh yeah everybody, these cards are keep everyone's entertainment, I guess you would say, and like let people, like you were saying, really get to like down to like, all right, I fully feel like I know how all these cards work and these mechanics.
I don't know. I think I would sit in two camps almost. Like because I have a financial kind of perspective, and then I have a player perspective, and financially, more releases would be great. And like maybe like two a year would be awesome or something like that. It's kind of like is that kind of part of your question? There is like what kind of rhythm would I find like the most um kind of
Yeah,
premium for me as a
Ideal,
player and a business owner?
yeah, right.
yeah,
I
Yeah.
mean,
ideal for you.
no,
And then
exactly.
as a player, I don't know. I don't think I mind a set a year. That feels pretty like palatable to me. Yeah, it means that I really do have time because I've noticed that with Ward, and I really love this about this game is I'll be looking at cards, and cards that I thought were terrible in my first couple weeks of playing Ward, I would come back to later and be like, holy cow, this card is awesome. You know what I mean? And that continues to happen to me all the time. Is like one day I just look at a card differently, and I just see some kind of different angle I could take with it. And you guys showed me a bunch of just mind-blowing angles when I was playing against you, just like very, very fascinating mechanics. Stuff I had danced with maybe a little bit, but and I love that about the game. And from what I can tell, that kind of just continues to happen. There's a really wide depths of strategy.
That's fair. To get back to kind of what Tyler was saying though, Evan, like, how did you feel? Sorry, how did you feel about just like when you're the first people? You brought up Matt, a couple people that play at your store. It's like, how did they what decks, what kind of cards, like what were people kind of gravitating towards? I think is a cool way, like Tyler was saying, to maybe go with it, because we're very interested, because I think you have like your own little community of like Ward people that we haven't really got to engage with like the big like overall like ranked scene that we have over here. So I think it's kind of would be a cool topic to cover.
Yeah, thanks for zeroing me back in on that. So really, it kind of really just all depended on what people pulled. Like once the spark was lit and people were no longer just they were trying to build better decks. It was like they would look back at the 5 to 10 packs they had opened for fun, and they would be like, oh, I have this one actual really good card, once they were like digging into the mechanics. And then everybody's play strategies just kind of was developed based off of what their collection was available to them. For instance, my good friend Tyler Wiley, he pulled a perfect shark. We were like, this card is so cool, and we didn't even know at the time that he was a really tough card to build around, but we were already on the hunt for a great white. Like we had the baby shark, obviously, but immediately the hunt was on for the great white. And I pulled one a couple days later, and I sent him a text message immediately, and we were like, the perfect shark is on the way, and it's been a really fun journey actually building that deck almost together, because he would go back and he would tinker it, and then over time we realized that it was a tank deck, so he started leaning into more healing, but he was playing against me, and I was running this like DPS corn creeper thing because I was trying to kill the heck out of that shark. And
good way to start.
And then eventually, I built like a strategy that was just consistently putting the shark down.
The real question is, do you know about shark stacking?
I don't know if I do.
Go on.
So you know how you have the sharkling, the great white, and then the perfect shark, correct? So
Okay.
if you have either another great white or perfect shark in your hand, you can stack that on top of the perfect shark, rehealing it fully.
Mm-hmm. Then you don't have to worry about
Because-
So if there's a perfect shark on the field and it's almost dead, I can just, or if there's like a great white on the field and it's almost dead, I can just put a different great white on it.
Yep.
Correct.
And you can also put
And
a
then
great
it's
white
fully
on a
health.
perfect shark. Yeah, you can.
I gotta call Tyler like right
Because
now.
basically anything.
Yep.
Yeah, so basically anything can stack on top as long as there's a sharkling on the bottom, because the way that their cards read is that they're able to be stacked on top of a sharkling. So it's
Yeah, that man has been like playing with like weights on his ankles.
Well, we had an episode with one of our good buddies. His name's
Yeah, it was
Chris
like our
Nelson,
second episode.
and he basically covers over all the shark. We kind of go in depth on the shark mechanics. So like it was.
Yeah.
I will say the perfect shark is definitely usually one of those decks that once someone hits it, a lot of people are pretty interested in it, because I will say it's kind of got that vibe of like evolution. You kind of like evolve him and make him bigger and bigger, kind of a Pokemon mechanic, I guess you would say. Not trying to put other TCGs in here, but.
Well, another example is Jacob Plisco, who played in my last tournament against some of you guys. He, drew a Vampire Lord, and we were all super stoked about that, and that just became the centerpiece for him. And that just kind of happened around the board. Maybe the only person that didn't happen to was me, because I just wanted to kind of like, I guess I just was creeping in the corn, just
Creeping in the corn.
I don't know. I saw the 5A. I was like, oh, there's a DPS build here. Well, and then my first deck was a gnome deck, obviously, for obvious reasons.
And then you find out about Assassin, and you're like, oh, Corn Creeper, he's good, but he
I
ain't no
actually didn't even
assassin.
have assassins when I made the Corn Creeper deck. It was Corn Creepers and Zombie Dogs. I didn't even know the assassin existed
go.
until
Don't worry, that was me and Tyler's way into. We started with only Gen 2 only, so we didn't have any idea because they were still reprinting. They were doing the re-release of Gen 1. And so yeah,
Mhm.
we never understood the assassins or any of these mechanics either. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, Corn Creeper, this is strong. Oh, Steam, this is strong. And then you're just like, well,
Then you see it. Yeah, you see an assassin. You're like,
yeah.
oh.
Then you're like, all right, really puts a lot
I
of
need
these
some
other
Gen
cards in
1
Gen 2
cards.
in their place for sure. No.
You're gonna have to tell Tyler to watch, our second episode, because once he realizes what he can do with the shark deck, he's gonna be like Rock Lee and Naruto, just dropping the
I
weights
know,
and just
dude. He
Oh,
really
beating
is.
them up.
no, I really think that deck is one of those decks that really takes over. Especially like I feel like that was one of our first decks. Where like, how do we counter this? Because like you were saying, I'm sure Evan, you kind of gotten to a point where like maybe you found some counters, but like at first that deck was very intimidating and it was very consistent. And we
Yep.
were like, man,
Well,
like
and with that little buff, I mean, it was intimidating enough with him having no idea that he could just double shark or
mm,
triple shark.
right.
Yep.
So sounds like sharks, vampires. I mean, did anyone try to do like the common levels? Like I know we have a lot of people that start out. It's like wear decks and these things that are a little easier to get your hands on and not always the
Yeah,
legendaries.
yeah, I saw a couple weird decks. One of the earliest strong decks in the shop was a weird deck, where a person had just like, again, pulled like a Wolf Knight, and then it was probably just like a starter pack or two that had like a Wolf Knight, a Weir Rat, and a Lunar Cat, and then everybody's got plenty of full moons already, so it's just like a no-brainer, and but that was definitely one of the first ones. I saw, and then we're at this phase now where we're seeing some really funny stuff. Like, there's one guy who's running a beaver deck that's pretty phenomenal. We kind of landed on this pretty powerful combo with it would work way better with something like an assassin, but with a beaver it works fine. Where you play demonic magic to cut their HP in half, and then play bio regeneration on them immediately.
Mm.
It's like if you could do that to an assassin, it'd be a wonderful play. But we just don't have enough in the shop, so he just uses beavers.
If you've got the promo Egg Taroth, it's a 10 HP 5+5.
Yep.
You can
Yeah,
do
we have a
it.
couple of those. Yeah, I think I don't think he has one, but the deck is actually really strong. It uses like demonic magic, and it's the same guy. It's the only guy in the shop who has a creator, and so he also has a helping hand and a creator in that deck, and
Yep.
he likes to limited summon his creator at the side of his beaver, and it's a strong deck. It's fun. If he could just get 3 assassins, it would be highly competitive.
No. Well, yeah, if every deck just has 3 assassins, it just gets highly competitive, right? Is
Yeah,
that
you're right. It's just bump the power level.
No, that's awesome. Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, it sounds like you have a pretty similar trajectory for like, like I would say where we kind of started too. It's like, you find a lot of those uncommon cards and then yeah, you kind of start to see like, all right, these epics and then these legendaries. I mean, a card that,
Mhm.
a lot of these guys in here, Tyler's Broken Maniac, which was a really cool like rare card, and then I mean Billy, I would say is probably the Steam Spider guy. So we've definitely have some interesting decks that have coming out. I guess I'll say I've definitely utilized the limited summons with the Elkanos, so it's like it is always kind of cool to see just how people kind of discover Ward and what they think is strong in the trends in the game.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I think it comes down to what you start with, and then you notice mechanics. Like, it's interesting to me how Billy runs the Steam Spider. That was pretty. It was like used like maybe in the first like day or week in the shop, and then it was like widely regarded as a bad card,
Hmm,
um,
that's
and
interesting.
not touched again by anybody in the shop. And then to like go months of that, and then to play in a tournament with some of the guys that are like dancing around at the highest levels, and to see a Steam Spider on turn one, it was like, oh, okay, I don't know as much about this game as I thought. Stuff like that.
No, that's very interesting. Yeah, I would say yeah. Sometimes those modifiers you see like a 3 or lower. Like I would say a lot of times at like high level, we're like, oh yeah, that's not usually not a great modifier you want. But it's like yeah, I mean sometimes those aren't the secret hidden things on cards that really actually make them stand out compared to other cards for sure.
Hmm.
I got a quick question. What so you so we got Gen 1 and Gen 2. What do you see the players in your shop gravitate towards more, Gen 1 or Gen 2? Is it just kind of like both?
Gen 1. Pretty
Gen 1,
distinctly.
okay.
Like we started out with Gen 2 because that's what Southern Hobby had available.
Sure.
And that was super cool. We were all super excited about it, but it was pretty quick that we realized that there were certain, it wasn't even that Gen 1 was stronger, it's just that there were combos between the two sets that were really strong. But the
Yep.
larger population of those combos seems to be in Gen 1. You know what I mean? Like certain Gen 1 and 2 cards work really well together, but in general, like Gen 1 seems to be the kind of like the stronger set with like the card draw and the you know, some slightly stronger creatures like assassin and um oh, and the equipments. It seems like you know, things like epic loot and mimic chest and um you know, just really
Revival
powerful
priest.
yeah
I kind of want to
we'll
get your
see.
take, Evan, with this. Like, what do you think is like, in your opinion now at this moment, like the strongest ward card in the game that people should really
I
maybe
like that
think about?
question.
Strongest ward card individually, like not including Gen 3.
Nah, I mean, if you want to throw
Yeah,
Gen 3 in there, I
Oh,
don't.
Gen 3 in there.
I
time to crunch that. Yeah, I've been just like lightly reading the cards at night, but I mean the rest of them I've kind of dove in on. I don't know, they're all really interesting. Maybe the strongest card might be like Revival Priest or something like that, just because of the amount of like powerful in-game combinations that can come out of it.
Mhm.
Another you know, Backstab might be a strong contender. Because it can just one shot a lot of enemies, and that's a great example of one of those combos. Like backstab on a corn creeper is just almost anything in the game is dead. If it's like
Right.
if you can just play a corn creeper, play a backstab, if they don't have a way to stop that, like no amount of HP is really going to save them. And that's even probably without much add-on. You know, like God, Lord help you if they have like even just any kind of buff on the corn creeper. But
Have you ever dabbled with
I mean, Holy Light obviously might be. We don't have a copy of Holy Light in the shop. Oh, there's one guy that has one, but maybe that's slightly stronger than Revival Priest because it has, you know, multi-purpose. What's your opinion though?
oh well
I know a guy with a couple.
Yeah, I do know
oh
that guy.
with a couple holy lights? Yeah, right. He's not on today, but yeah, we've have him. Casey comes on somewhat regularly and as a guest and likes to talk. I mean, as the number one ranked guy, you know, if he wants a platform, he gets to use us to definitely tell everybody how his opinions on Ward. But I was
Real,
really quick gonna
real
ask you.
quick.
Uh, how have you seen anyone really use like Kendo Tiger, like Bunny Saurus? I'm really curious. Like, how do you feel about like the utility cards? I know we brought up like Psychic Toad sometimes too. Like, there's a lot of like pretty cool like utility cards like in Ward that like I feel like they don't always like they kind of make it into decks all the time, but they aren't really like the people are like thinking too much about them. I guess if that makes sense.
Well, those cards started off strong in the shop, like they were highly used, mostly because, you know, they were being thrown into decks like, you know, when you start off, you have a Vampire Lord, you know, you don't have like all of the copies of the perfect creatures, so you know, you throw in a Kendo Tiger. And we saw a lot of them for a little while like that, but then a lot of those cards, like you know, we haven't seen a Kendo Tiger or a Bunny Saurus, either of those cards you mentioned in a deck in a long time.
Hmm.
Um,
Must not be
Now
playing with
Kendo Tiger,
irresistible loves, you know.
yeah, we nobody's used that at all because even though I know it's strong, but it never seems worth a slot in a 30 card deck when it can just be like 50-50, you know, broken on in one turn, you know. Like it seems more valuable to hold like a counter spell or another forest sentinel or something that has a little bit more strength to it.
Okay.
That's indeed what the math says.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just like with a 30 card deck, you're really limited on your number of utilities. So it's like it's not really worth it to put a whole card in there that can just actually provide nothing in the end.
Hmm. That's fair. I just think sometimes people underlook how strong creature effects just like they kind of bypass everything like Bunny Swords. It's like you can't unless you mind sap or like stop his effect somehow, it's like you can't negate Bunnysaurus. Like he will just stop anything. So it's like I don't know. It's
Now,
got
if something like demonic magic is already on the field, does it negate Bunnysaurus?
yep. Once he
Yes.
hits the field, he's not able to
Mhm.
negate it. Yeah, because he can't
Yep.
destroy. He just can negate, and so there's no really way for him to stop it. But yep.
Kendo Tiger is the same way. If Demonic Magic's already out there, once he enters, he can't destroy or bounce one from your hand.
Well, I think it's something that's gonna come make a comeback. Like I was gonna kind of end with that is like when I was playing against you guys, I kind of saw a glimpse of why those cards are so invaluable. I think it's just a product of the play style in the shop, right now. Like, because right now I'm seeing a lot of counterspell duels, stuff like that. People leaning on strategies that they know from other games.
Right.
Have you seen Scroll of Silence be played a lot?
Scroll of Silence, great example. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm driving a lot of this because I'm obsessed with games. So these guys have to deal with me all the time, and like I haven't lost a game in the shop since like Corn Creepers V2, and I'm on like Corn Creepers V5, and it's not my strongest deck anymore. But nobody's
Mm.
made it through the Corn Creepers to like make it to my Burn Turtles or now the Slap Raptors. Which the
Burn
Slap
Turtles.
Raptors are actually kind of Billy's deck, but Raptors.
Oh, interesting. Squires plus Raptors.
What is your Burn Turtles?
The Burn Turtles is so the how Giant Turtle the wording says it takes half of all damage.
Correct.
So I play a lot of lightning bolts. I play like lightning bolts. My turtle takes 15. Your creature takes 30.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, I try to play Hell hath no fury. I wait for you to play a magic card, and then I try to half your creature's HP and counter your magic card for 30, like at the same time,
Yeah.
while I have my turtle out. So I have 3 giant turtles, 2 demonic turtles, an assassin, and Scarlet. And I like to imagine that assassin and Scarlet are married, and that they are turtle farmers.
Hell
I
yeah.
love it. That's great. Yeah,
And then the
no.
whole deck, this is where I think it gets a little bit clever, is the whole deck is like 3 life saps, like 2 absolute terrors, a sonic screech. It's like a lot of like delay and passive damage,
Right.
and then
So
also I've got some equipment so I can just buff my turtles for in a moment.
yeah, it sounds like a sick deck.
No,
It's fun.
I'm kind of curious.
For me.
I'm kind of curious, Evan. You brought up Gen 3 a little bit that you were looking through some of the cards. I mean, is there maybe just like let's just rattle off like 5 cards or so that maybe you're looking to make decks or just enhance your decks from Gen 3 if in potential?
There's one card I think is broken already.
Oh.
What is it?
What's the one
He's giving us the strats here. Well, get your
what's
notebooks.
the one that lets you
Outlet.
limited summon from the grave?
Oh, Possession.
Yeah.
No. It's got an image of
Possessed
like a
Dummy.
knight. No, it's like Last Goodbye.
Oh.
Oh, Last Goodbye. Yeah.
So it's an equip card, and it says summon a creature from your grave as a limited summon. Send this card and the equipped creature to the grave at the end of your turn.
Yep.
So by wording, can I equip that to my opponent's creature and just give them a limited summon for a turn and then kill their creature?
No, the equip is to the cemetery creature, like revival.
Just to the summon. I wondered if that's
Yeah.
what was going on there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Oh, I
It-
see.
it's
what-
so then
it's
I
a
see
revival
what you're-
priest.
So what your whole plan was they're gonna summon a creature, you equip that to their
Yeah.
creature, and then it would send them to.
That's
the
what I
cemetery.
thought it was going to allow me to do. I was like,
That's
that
so
can't be
busted.
right.
That'd be so busted.
No, it's revival priest light.
yeah.
Kind of like how peddling
Does it say
partridge.
does
and-
it say your cemetery or can you do it to their cemetery?
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's what
I
I'm
doubt
interested.
it
Can you
has to
take
be
out
your-
their creatures out of? Is it your cemetery?
let's look
Yeah,
at it.
because then you could use Soul Eater.
Ooh.
Your cemetery. Quit your shenanigans.
Oh.
See,
Okay.
I do think that's a really
Worth a
cool card.
shot.
Though.
Now you
But
turn.
no,
now you turncoat, and then you do it. And then you pull them out.
Oh my god.
Obviously, Octo-Orc is going to see a crazy amount of play.
Ooh.
Absolutely.
Okay. We haven't really heard people talk much about Octo-Orc besides Biodino plus Octo-Orc. So.
I mean, well, you got Biodino and Octo-Orc. You have Graft and Octo-Orc. You have just the
Oh,
fact that
true.
he's 10 HP in general. So, and then you have how he combos with the Orc Champion. If you have an Octa Orc in your hand, you can just play the Orc Champion. And then I mean, in my decks, I would throw in Octa Orc in a way is like an assassin. Because an assassin is essentially hitting for 96 plus 15. Octa Orc is hitting for just a like does that make sense? Like because it's times three.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry, I'm getting
so it
caught up,
has
Evan. Before you had your little niche Georgia group of guys playing Ward, and now I feel like now you've gotten into the hive mind of the Discord, and now I can already tell you're taking some of those things. I know Billy was just talking about the whole orc war. What is his name? Orc champion. How you only need to have one other
Champion.
orc, and yeah, a lot of people were thinking that's pretty busted. That it's like, oh, he counts us in towards his own summoning
Yeah,
requirement, which is very
yeah,
interesting.
I mean, but either way, so I think Octa Orc will see a lot of play. I know one combo. I thought Possession was interesting. Oh, I know my favorite card from the deck is probably Sprite.
Okay.
Hmm.
Um, and
You
I
must
was
really
looking
like
at
Scarlet. Wait. Are you just a super Scarlet enthusiast? This guy likes mechanics that
yes,
don't allow
but I
your
just see a good
opponent to
deck
hit
build.
those
The
creatures.
cosmic there's because the Sprite is a cosmic type, so you can equip the Sprite with the Jewel to
Oh,
summon that
the
that
jeweled.
guy.
Yeah, that's actually
Mhm.
Alec Kermit. One of yeah, he had a card idea, I think, and they turned it into an actual card. It's pretty cool. The jeweled.
And I do
Evan,
like
I can't remember
when
exactly
we
what it is.
had it's Jewel Demigod. When we had the Gen 3 play testing for the 150 clubbers, um, my first deck that I made was Sprites, Enlightened Souls, the Cursed Jewel, whatever it's called, and then Shard Titans. And then I
Yeah,
put
yeah,
like
I saw that right away. I was like, "Oh, that's
yeah,
like the perfect little combo."
Well, it's kind of
yeah, and then
interesting
I
because like
think
you can get a lot of value out of that shard guy, especially with him just not affecting your cemetery when he's sent there, right?
Mhm.
It doesn't
correct.
go towards the cost. Yeah, it's pretty powerful if you think about it. It's just a lot of
Yeah, the
setup.
Yeah,
only
if
thing I
you
haven't yeah.
Hmm.
but I mean
No.
you're gonna play him in a cosmic deck, so
Hmm.
the setup is not really a setup. You just have to find the pieces and that's it. Just like
Yeah.
sharks. You're
I
gonna
just
play him
didn't
in a
know what
shark
else to
deck.
add to it. Like I saw that little synergy and then I just didn't know what creatures would go well as like the top end of that.
Hmm.
Besides that cosmic
Um,
skull, but I don't want to have to think about how to put him into a deck. He's a
I think Phaser it's a cosmic.
Yeah.
Phasard is a cosmic. Phasard's a pretty cool cosmic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a card I'm looking at. Phasered. I like they did a little bit of change. I think before he shut down like all magic or something, and now they changed it to just standard magic, which is kind of cool. I kind of like when everything has like its own little niche area that it covers. Another card I was looking at was that what is that? The gaseous horror. I don't even know what the heck it is. It's like a little
Gaseous horror.
yeah, it's just like a little ball like head thing, and then basically every time you hit it, it does like 5 damage to you. And I'm thinking about making some way with like frenzy and some way to like force my opponent to keep hitting, but then also a way to like keep it alive so that it just like keeps doing like small damage to them in some way. I think that card is actually pretty unique in that sense.
Sounds like it would go well in the burn turtle deck.
Oh
Mm.
yeah, just do
Would
that with Raging Inferno and 15 iteration.
Hey.
Ooh, okay, I like that a lot. Yeah,
The
that's got.
gaseous horror reminds me of the dirty bubble from SpongeBob.
Yeah, I was gonna say it definitely has its own look. I think that card could become pretty infamous in Word with just the imagery of it.
You just do the demonic turtle, blood of the bat, infernal armor. Bam.
Yep, there you go.
Oh,
But then
Throw in all in one, you're invincible.
see, but the thing about Gen 3 that I like too is there really isn't Steam. So it's like the people can't just as much as I like the Steam mechanic, I
Team
also think
armor, bro.
I want to yeah, but it's like they don't have like true like there's no Steam creature where it's just like, "Oh yeah, I just don't have to deal with your effects." I don't know. Part of me kind of likes when you're able to interact with your opponent. Nothing feels worse than like you said, Evan, like bringing like a deck that's just like burn and all these different mechanics. It's like, "Oh wait, half of the mechanics I equip to your creature or I burn your creature don't work." And it's just like,
mhm.
it does feel a little, I don't know, something about it. I like to have that interaction with my opponent where I like can actually play some of my cards and but
Now, I'm really interested to hear your guys' perspective on my second idea that I had when I was looking at the cards, which was Succubus.
mm,
Um,
Yeah.
She's really interesting because, especially with some of these like lightning equip cards and stuff that, I got, what is it, Ancient Book, um,
Yep.
gives you like is it a plus 30, which is
I think it's
obscene.
15. I think the
Is it
30
plus
It's
one is
15?
cybernetic upgrade is just the one
Oh yeah,
when
but
you're
that's only for one
well,
turn.
that's when your opponent attacks and your opponent has to start combat, then you can equip it for that
Right.
combat, yeah.
Um, but that on top of Succubus, and then I wondered how Succubus interacts with things like Sentinel of Life while at full HP, or stuff like
I
that,
mean, yeah, so any healing over succubus max HP. So let's say she's at 45 health out of 50, and then your opponent hits you for 20, and you play Sentinel of Life. You would heal 5 and then deal 15 damage.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But what would happen if you're at full HP? I guess is what he's
Then it would
asking.
just deal 20 damage. It
20.
deals the
Yeah.
full, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're
Yeah.
full health, then like health potion heals you for 30 damage.
Mhm.
Isn't
Right.
there one that's 50?
Yeah, healing
Healing
tree.
tree,
Yep.
Healing
baby.
tree? Yeah, healing
Yeah, but
tree.
doesn't
You
it say
deal
something
50
like
damage.
during combat, like you can't? Because that's one of the things I wondered is that it was like, can I just drop a healing tree on my full health? But I don't think it works.
Well,
Let's look.
there's not been an official ruling on it, but I do believe that's kind of the route that they're going with it is just like any extra healing onto her does just burn damage. It's
Oh
not
yeah,
like
It
then that's
says
busted.
the creature says this creature heals for half attack damage. It inflicts any excess healing above its max HP is also dealt to the target as damage.
yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't really. I mean, I think it implies that it's saying, "Oh, the healing damage is excess damage," but it doesn't explicitly say that. So that's why I tend to think like a health potion on a full HP suck. Actually, it's 40 HP total, so whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So a
so
health
dude,
potion,
like her
yeah,
with Sentinels of Life and healing trees and health potions and
Blood of the bat.
Blood
yeah,
of the
yeah.
Bat, and then those ancient books to just up her damage.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's a whole new style of deck that's going to come into Gen 3 with that card alone. And that's giving
Mhm.
variety to the game and variety to stuff you're going to see in tournaments. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah,
Mhm.
me too.
No, and Evan, as you know, we're kind of going through a couple of these cool card ideas with Gen 3. I mean, I kind of want to pivot and just say like, as Gen 3 is about to be released, as the remaster is about to be released. I mean, what do you have? I mean, maybe we could move on to maybe your, the tournaments and things that you've been kind of putting on and just like how you've been promoting like Ward in your store. I mean, how are you feeling with like the Gen 3 release and the remastered and everything coming in? I mean, I'm assuming you're probably going to be pushing that pretty hard. Do you feel like you've gotten a good community of people already? Do you think that it is gonna keep continuing to grow like through your store? I mean, is that kind of where your head's at with it, or maybe if you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I mean, I'll be honest, there's a little bit of uncertainty for me about, and I think for a lot of the guys, because we're getting into this game right now, but we're actually coming into the game during a pretty, like, transitive time in the game's, like, life cycle. You know what I mean? So, I know that there's like a lot in store, and and I hope that my guys continue to love the game. You know what I mean? But even with just an art change, which is a subtle change, you know what I mean? It's just it could be a little nerve-wracking. I mean, I know I like the art. I know it's a big departure from the previous art, and I'm sad to see it go. And I also like the new approach, and I love the game. So. But it'll be interesting to see how the game grows and how my guys react to that because we love the game that we're coming into, you know what I mean? But there's a lot left to learn and there's a lot left to see and the game is changing at the same time. So
Right.
it's just a lot of uncertainty. But what I can tell you again is I have more games of War that get played in my shop every week than Magic the Gathering. So
No, I mean, and
I'm a
maybe
small
just
store though. I only opened like 17 weeks ago.
and then obviously just maybe cover just your thought with like, I mean, are you planning on? I know you put on like a ranked tournament already for Ward, and you did also do an online one just because of obviously weather constraints and things. But I mean, is that kind of the trend and the trajectory that you feel like it's like here? You're gonna keep contributing to the ranked scene for Ward.
Yeah, I plan to. Like I said, I was gonna put my weight behind like a new kind of upcoming game when I open this shop. I have a lot of plans, but I plan to continue to support Ward and you know, because Ward has been supporting me. It's been a cool new game that's brought life to the shop, and I've gotten to participate in cool events with WWB, and I've had like amazing players like you guys that have been offering advice, and I feel like I've been becoming a part of something, you know what I mean? I've got like the guys up, and it feels cool to be connected with the guys up there in Minnesota and be to trying to support you guys and to feel supported. It's just been really awesome. So I have no intentions of changing that.
No, yeah, I think it is kind of a cool branch to just have that connection to as many stores as we can. I mean, obviously, I've stated in the last episode that my goal for this upcoming year is to really try to get in contact with a lot of these store owners that are willing to come on and be available to promote their store, not and as well just promote like here at Ward, how can we give you this experience, that you're kind of describing right now of like how can we make it feel like you're like another piece of our community that's kind of doing your own little offshoot, but you're still entangled with the whole scene as it is. I think that's like the best way to kind of keep this thing growing is just keep everybody
Yeah.
engaged in a way. And I think just using things like Untap, using things like the Discord, having obviously as much content be created on Ward as possible. It's like those are all the avenues that I think will definitely just give this game even more reach. So it's like it really does make me feel good that you're kind of backing and encouraging Ward to the extent that you are, because it's like this is the stuff that we need. We want to hear that store owners and things and people are really excited to take on Ward. Um, so with that, I mean, Tyler, Billy, do you guys have any other questions for Evan? Just about maybe his store, or just what your guys' thoughts are with Ward and other card stores. I'm kind of curious if we want to sneak in any other questions. Otherwise, we're probably gonna move on and do some other little fun conversations with Evan and include him in see what feedback he has.
I'm all about it.
What do you got? Anything, guys?
You go, Billy.
Yeah, sure. I I don't remember who it was, but one person from your store, um, maybe it was Jacob. I'm not sure. Uh, it doesn't matter. Maybe it was Matt. I don't remember. Either way, someone had mentioned that one time the rankings were posted, that they're like, "Oh man, it's just so cool to see me on the War and Honor," and it's so cool like watching these rankings that I finally got to get on there. What's been the reaction kind of like that with your store and having the players like you're starting to throw a lot more ranked tournaments and they're getting to like get wins ranked in and racked up and like getting better and stronger decks? Like, what's been that experience like?
Well, it, that makes me want to speak about Matt Littrell just for a minute because that was definitely Matt. I don't.
Hmm.
Maybe we had somebody else get on there, but if I Matt has been into this game for a long time, and I think winning that little tournament that I threw, tiny little tournament, and seeing his name go up on those boards, I think it really meant a lot to this man. You know what I mean? And I could see that. I could see that at the moment. I think it gave him a source of pride and confidence that and the competition was steep. It was really cool that Chandler came out, for instance, because that was a big part of that. Like we felt through Chandler connected to the larger Ward community. It wasn't just us nerds in a shop. Like and a bunch of like amateur players, and Chandler came and he played fiercely, and so did my guys. But Chandler really showed us that like, hey, this guy's been into this game for a little while, and we were still like able to compete with him, and that tiny little thing, just having one guy here that has already been into the game for a little while, it really made the tournament feel real. And when I snapped a picture of him, and then over the next days he saw himself like connected into that community. I thought it meant a lot to him,
Oh, I'm sure.
and it was a big source of pride for me. I felt, and that was, I mean, I could almost, but yeah, it was a big source of pride for me, and that's made me want to continue to do that because that guy, he deserved that. He loves the game. He's played hard. He's collected cards. He fought for that win. And I love seeing people gain confidence. I don't care where they get it from, really. So
Yeah.
No, that's
No, that's
like I said,
awesome.
that's such an inspiring story and like awesome and like it is kind of cool because yeah, if we come from the perspective of Chandler was someone who was in our fall league. And Billy, we've had many conversations now with him and he definitely was just growing. He was learning a lot from just being in the fall league. So then it was kind of fun to be like, okay, now take all that information that you've learned from here and like bring it to another whole new group of people. And I just think it was a fun experience on both sides because that was just kind of the way we were all seeing it from. He's like, all right, guys, I'm gonna go travel to this tournament 5 hours away and like wish me
yeah,
luck.
it
And
was awesome.
we're like his ward parents, like, yeah, go, honey, get
You
out
can
there,
do it.
play,
Yeah.
figure out the tournament scene over there, So it's kind of cool that we kind of get both sides of it now and just get to talk of it all the way through. So no, I really think that you are bringing something. I know you called it small and whatever, but you're bringing a really big what do you call it, like awareness to the game, and I want to really appreciate that, Evan, because I'm glad that out of all those games you had, I'm glad that Ward is really picking up in your shop.
Yeah, me too.
For you, Tyler, you got any question for Evan or just anything you want to end the talk on with that?
I'm just excited for Gen 3, man. We're only a couple weeks away and
I
Mm-hmm.
know.
very, very much looking forward to the release party.
All
That's
right.
for sure.
Heck yeah. Well, why don't we cover the release party really quick for anyone who wasn't on the 50th episode? So on February 21st, for us, we'll be at Globe News at noon. We're going to be live streaming the event. So for anybody who can't make it out to one of the 3 store locations, so there's Curious Crow in Lexington, in the cities in Minneapolis. Then you also have Hibbing. There is the all right. Help me out with
Heritage
this.
Sports
Hibbing
Cards.
Sports Card Store. Yep, and so that is where Joe and Q will be. I think they're all starting at noon. So again, noon is the time. So if you're in near any of those areas, otherwise Superior, Wisconsin at Globe News will be where we all are at. So they're all a little bit close in proximity, but again, if people, we're trying to give the advance, notice so that if anybody really does want to come out and come to these live events and obviously get your hands on Gen 3, you'll get to be the first, people to
Yeah,
touch
us
the
too. We're
cards.
doing it right at noon. I'm trying to line up with those guys, and
Oh, that's
I
awesome.
don't know if anybody will
Okay,
be here, but
there we
I will be.
go.
I'm gonna crack a pack at
We
noon.
needed to hear the confirmation from Evan. So Evan, they will even be doing it in Georgia too. So that's awesome. So yeah, definitely make it out to Big Top Games and see Evan, and he will gladly hand you some new packs of Gen
Mhm.
3
Yeah,
when
we're
it is
stoked about it.
released. But again, that is February 21st. So make sure you mark the date on
And
the
if they
calendar. At
care about
noon is
time
when the
zones,
release will happen. And yeah,
if
if
they don't care about time zones, Evan will be the first one to crack the pack
Oh, I
one
gotta
oh,
hour
ask him
ahead.
because he's
about
an
that.
hour
Do
ahead.
I get
Yeah.
till? Wait, do I have to wait till like 1 o'clock? That's
I don't
unfair.
know. You'll have to ask.
Yeah, you got to make sure you don't want to get in trouble,
1 o'clock Eastern. This is robbery.
We're all coming to your store at that point. Then we're all making our
Yeah,
way
if
out
they
to
tell me I
Georgia.
can do it early, I'm gonna just like send all you guys personal messages of my pulls just to rub it in at like
Oh.
11:30. Yeah,
A race to the Cabal War Chief.
But either
yeah, yeah.
way, if you're not able to make it, like I said, we will be live streaming our, our watch party, our, open release party. So for everybody who can't, make sure to hop on there and definitely watch just so you can kind of see what's all going on. And at the same time, Marty on our last episode did a giveaway shout out. So for anybody who also is going, make sure that you put what store you're going to, so that you can have a chance to get a signed pack with all the creators' names on one of the Gen 3 packs that they're going to be
That
giving
is so
away at
cool.
all
I don't know. I
all
don't know
3
if we have that at
locations.
my spot.
Yeah, unfortunately. But hey, if you're not at those 3 locations, they're also make sure to put the code Big Fur Coat or Fur Coat. I can't remember if it's big or just from Fur Coat.
Big
But anyway,
fur coat.
Big Fur Coat go into the 50th episode video, comment that, and one lucky person around the United States or wherever you are, you could be not in the United States, in any country, but you get a chance to get one of those signed packs too that they're going to ship out. So there's 4 potential packs that you could get depending on where you go. So
Maybe not Maybe not North Korea, but
All right, Billy. Well, hey, we try to keep it open to everybody here. So you know what? Everybody has equal opportunity to get the packs. So with that, there's the giveaway. There's again February 21st at noon. Make sure you guys come and enjoy the experience with us. With that, though, we are going to move into our tournament that we are throwing on right after the release party. So the next day, so the 22nd of February, we are putting on our own WWB Winter Tournament. Frostworm Cup, I should say. I got to get the official name for it. And basically, this is going to be an unofficial, so it's not ranked, unfortunately. As much as I was trying my best to get it to be ranked, but it is an unranked tournament, so it does not affect your rankings. But it will be one of the first online, or it will be the first online Gen 3 only tournament that will be played. So as soon as the card library gets released into Untapped, we're trying to get as many people come in, participate, join, just really kick off, Gen 3, really show the ward staff, how much support everybody has in our community, and just, in general of just getting Gen 3 released, that I really want everybody to try to join in on the fun. And again, you have full access to the library, so you can make any deck that you want out of all the Gen 3 cards. And I really think this will give Ward a really good traction. So again, February 22nd, the matches start at 2 p.m. So for everybody, all the information to register, I usually run through it. If you go on the Ward Discord, I have all the information there. But basically, the main thing is there's a $15 fee to buy in, $5 just for playing, $10 goes to the prize pool that you have a potential chance of first, second, or third to win some of the prize money. And then on top of that, you just have to make sure you basically just give me a picture of your untapped deck. Then other than that, like I said, Discord name or just a name so that I can keep track of everybody. But yeah, other than that, it's not too much. And like I said, it's more just meant to be a fun tournament so that everybody can really just have a good time with Gen 3 and really get to have the first initial data that I would say, just to see where people are at with Gen 3 and what's strong, what's weak, what's everybody kind of gravitating towards. So yeah, how are you guys feeling
And
about that?
I can add there, you get to play against great players like you guys. That was the best thing I got out of participating in your tournament, Harry, is I got to play against experienced players, and even though I'm losing games, and the guys in my shop, the ones that participated in your last tournament, they walked away just all smiles for every loss, because they're like, wow, we're picking up so much. So that was the coolest part for me.
Mm-hmm. No, and I think it only gets better,
That's
like you
great.
said. The more people that we get in these tournaments, just all the different kinds of decks and variations. And I really think there is something to be said about just giving people full access. It's like, I understand there are some burdens to trading card games. I will say, as somebody who has bought many cards, Tyler and Billy can attest to this, and I'm sure Evan, you can join in on it too. It's like, it can be kind of a big commitment, and I think just trying to give people that access to be like, here, let's just spark that inspiration, that excitement into the game, and just give everybody a good opportunity. So again, this is on Untap. It's an online tournament. Everybody is able to play on it. All you have to do is just download Untap, make an account, and then basically you can go in there. There's a ward actual section, which we just recently got added on in Untapped, so you can hop in the ward section, create a deck, and like I said, register for this tournament. So yeah, it's going to be a great time, and I'm assuming Tyler, Billy, and even Evan will probably be in it. I will be reffing. Unfortunately, I don't think I will be playing, but I will be there, so you'll get to hear my beautiful voice as you do right now. But
Mhm.
you'll have a chance to win money at that time.
Bring in the burn turtle.
Bring in the burn.
Evan,
Oh wait, it's Gen
I
3 only. The
always,
burn
Yep.
turtle won't be
yeah,
there.
Evan, I always say when I go to tournaments that if I don't learn something or if I'm not having fun, then it wasn't worth going. I don't really care about winning or losing. So I love that your guys just walked away like, wow, I just learned so much.
Yeah.
That's kind of the best thing I get from tournaments. It's like, I need to learn something. I need to learn something new about the game or something new about another deck.
Well, you guys had a lot to do with that, like your patience for them, like while they're learning on tap, which is not hard. It's like, by the third turn, we're running smooth, but still you guys were patient. You're also teaching them mechanics about their own cards, like while they're playing, you're
Yeah.
not letting them just like make mistakes.
I think the funnest thing
Um,
was just after the matches too, just some of the longer conversations that, like you said, it was just everybody that was at the tournament just really just coming together and just talking about just board things in
mhm.
general. Which I don't know, that's the stuff that always sparks me. I mean,
We
me
had
and
some spectators jump into my last tournament. I thought that
mm-hmm.
was super duper cool. Like, hey, I'll say it to the random public that might be watching. Even if you're not going to play, come spectate. We love having a crew, man. It'd be cool to get some hype going.
No, for sure. I think they were definitely interested. I mean, yeah, definitely people that have participated in other ward tournaments and things, and it is really nice. I mean, I was gonna kind of pass it off to Tyler. I mean, yeah, he's somebody that has definitely been pretty committed in the ward scene, and so it's like it'll be nice to have people kind of get to experience playing the man, the
As
myth, the
long as
legend.
well, as long as there's no Scarlet, it should be entertaining. So
Uh,
that's all that matters.
yeah, I looked at the promo cards, Tyler. I think we're clear of that one. I don't know that Arcus or whatever. He might be the one card that's kind of similar.
Yeah, Evan,
Uh,
Evan, Evan doesn't know what he's asking for when he wants Scarlet. He hasn't seen Scarlet at her worst.
Scarlet,
Evan,
yeah, there's a lot to learn about her, I'm sure.
we had me and Tyler have traded blows on Scarlet in the finals. The one that was probably the worst offender is that it was an untapped tournament. Me and Tyler won the final match. I play a Scarlet because I'm like, haha, I know you can't do anything about this. And then he starts putting. No, was it you had a Scarlet? No, you had the Scarlet and I didn't.
Yeah, you
So
had
you
yeah.
started putting creators gifts on my creature to give it more hit dice,
Right.
and it was just roll the
It
dice
was
fest. I
two.
just
It
never
was
hit.
two. I came from the losers bracket, and it was just two straight games of him not hitting a single attack, and me just killing him with Scarlet very slowly.
Oh my God, you won a
And he
whole
net
game like that, dude. You
two of them,
monster.
Two of them,
Yeah.
was
and I
probably, and there was probably like 10 people watching.
You're a
No, yeah, it
monster.
was as
I've
one of the
thought
people
about doing
watching.
that, and I don't have the patience. I'll sack her off the field eventually because I'm like, let's just get this.
As one of the people
Tyler was
watching, though,
patient.
yeah, Scarlett has definitely made her mark in the game. But I do think over time people have found a lot of ways to kind of deal with her, or you know what I mean. The Ward has just kept evolving to it's like yeah, but it is kind of funny to see what Gen 3 will kind of make for like the new chapter of Ward. Like I said, it's like and I don't know. There's a little spot in my heart because like me and Tyler, we got in at Gen 1 only, so or sorry, not Gen 1, Gen 2 only, and so it's just kind of nice that they're willing to keep like doing this cycle of like here let's just I would hope it's like here let's do a little bit of just Gen 3 by itself and just kind of let people figure out like what's strong in Gen 3 and then mix it in and put all the other elements of Ward into the game afterwards with Gen 1 and Gen 2 added into Gen 3. And I don't know, I think there's just something good about that where you can really just like let some cards shine that it's like yeah maybe they'll be great in Gen 3 only, but obviously with all those other mix like you were saying, Evan, there's only 30 cards in your deck, so it's like it's hard to get everything in there for all the stuff. But yeah, definitely excited for
This
Gen 3.
gen, it's really the calm before the storm. It being Gen 3 only because it's going to be very calm and figuring out Gen 3, and then everything is going to hit the fan.
Then it gets crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's gonna be hitting the fan behind the scenes the whole time. It's like because we're all gonna be doing like all gens. Everybody's gonna have an all gen deck, and so like everything's gonna seem all normal on like the competitive scene while everybody's playing these like Gen 3 only sets, and then one
Mm-hmm.
day they're gonna be like, okay, bring your other decks. It's
Yep.
gonna be mayhem.
yep.
Oh yeah, we've all been there with Gen 2, and then when Gen 1 came back, yeah, definitely had that feel for sure.
Yep.
But with that, guys, I think we're gonna wrap it up. Any final thoughts? Just to talk to Evan or cover in tournaments or anything. We'll start with Tyler, maybe. Are you?
I think we got mostly everything. It was good chatting with you, Evan. Nice meeting you. Hopefully the ward scene keeps growing at your shop, and I hope that business is going well, and hopefully you're able to sell a lot of Gen 3.
Oh yeah, he's
Yeah.
got it. They're gonna be loving it. All right, Billy. What's your final thought?
Final thoughts. I'm hyped for Gen 3. I'm hyped for Evan in his store. It was really nice to play with a couple of the guys that are locals from his store, and really nice players. They got really good ideas, and they've. I think about when I first started playing, like how like long it took me to get like good, and like seeing them play so quickly and already like jumping to that level. It's pretty awesome. So I think there's a lot of good things out of Georgia coming.
Mhm. All right, and
We're
Evan.
coming to Ward Bowl.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Evan.
my final thought is we
Yeah,
are coming to the Ward Bowl, baby.
let's
And we are gonna
go.
Hey,
we're
Evan.
just trying to get in one guy, and that one guy will be our champion, our big top chosen one. And
I love
you
it.
can best be
Hell
sure that dude's gonna
yeah.
get a horde of cards from everyone in the
Let's
shop.
go.
I,
We're gonna
I,
have a whole Rocky training arc. I'll film it for you guys. Just behind it.
that
And
is an
when we come up
awesome.
there, if I'm gonna be like wearing like a wife beater and like a towel around my neck, and I'm just gonna be massaging him at the
One of
table.
those bottles where you just spraying it in his mouth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Unless they tell me it's intimidation tactics, which I don't know.
No,
Hey,
you should do that.
anything
100%.
goes at a ward tournament. All right, they
That's
haven't.
right.
They,
That's right.
besides, well, if you ask Tyler, you can't use your dice tray or your dice.
You think they would let us
Those
have
Yeah,
like
those are
everything
not,
but no dice trays, alright?
that's the
oh
only
no
only
You
dice
heard it
request.
trays?
here. No dice trays.
Uh,
That's
Don't
I
even
haven't
get me
heard that in a
started. We're at the
while.
end of this podcast.
Well,
Mm.
as long as I can have some like intro theme music and maybe like a fog machine and like some sparklers, that I'm cool.
Yeah, they'd probably let all that slide though. Like you said, nothing about a dice tray there, so they'd let it go. No,
So that's all good.
I think with that, with my final thought, definitely one thing Billy brought up was just like have a mini, as we were talking about Ward Bowl, like a mini Ward Bowl, whereas or what was what did we call that thing,
Ward
Billy?
Bowl Junior.
Ward Bowl Junior. We need a Ward Bowl Junior where a bunch of people that can't, didn't make the top 20 can still play in. That's like a little crack pack. I want to keep promoting that, Billy. We're gonna keep planting that seed, Tyler. We got to keep it going. Every episode, we're just gonna talk about Ward Bowl Junior. It needs to become a thing. So when we go to Ward Bowl, there's more events that people can participate in and go with. But one more thing for my final thought, Evan. I do have a question. Are you still planning? I just want to make sure I get a clarification with online tournaments, just tournaments in general at your store. I mean, is that when might we expect the next tournament? Are you gonna throw on your own Gen 3 only tournament, or what are you looking at?
Yeah, yeah, so I've been debating, I'm the ward team has told me, I'm allowed to throw one ranked tournament per month. I've been debating between I haven't talked to them personally, so I don't know what they're cool with and what like I thought about doing a sealed Kraken shuffle as a ranked tournament.
I like that
And
name,
uh, and I
Kraken
thought about
Shuffle.
doing it as like a double elim, and I even thought about like if you took a loss, maybe allowing people to like get another pack, and that would be a cool way to like kind of pad out if you just didn't get any good draws, or like if, just kind of once you take a loss, you can kind of go back and be like, well, maybe that way you can't say it was the deck, at the end of the day, you can
Yep.
be like,
Great format. Great
but
format. And
So
yeah,
this month, are you
that
looking?
we have played that.
Yeah. So
you've
this.
played it like that.
Yeah, we have played like
Yeah, I
that
think
before.
Tristan at Curious Crow, that's definitely the way he puts on his tournaments too. He lets people that lose, they get to get a new pack and add, well, switch out the packs. But yeah, sometimes they've done
We
it with
also we also had one where you would just buy a pack and then you would get or you would buy another pack per win and per
Hmm.
loss,
Booster. Yeah.
and it was double
Oh, that's cool.
elimination.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
would
it's kind of
totally
like
do something
upgrading
like
your
that.
deck throughout playing.
And I didn't know if that could be the ranked tournament, and if not, then I thought
Yeah,
about, I'm going to do
Oh yeah.
that on the release day either way. Oh, yeah, it can be. Then yeah,
Yep,
that's probably
because
what
the
I would
ward
do.
staff themselves have thrown on official tournament. Like Tyler, the tournament Tyler's talking about, as it was actually a ward staff event that they threw on themselves. So yeah, I would say they
Well,
probably approve of that for sure.
well, I thought it sounded like a really cool way to do a very fair ranked tournament, because it's just I love even playing fields,
Yeah.
like I love the element of TCG collecting where you do have to collect and like build and find. I love that too, but I also like doing both, having some days where it's like, it comes down to just strategy and maybe a little bit of building and a little bit of luck, but
Makes sense. So real quick, do you have is like this month? Are you planning on throwing another tournament or when? Okay.
I am. I had meant to ask them if I could do like essentially on release day. I was gonna do a sealed Kraken shuffle that night. So like people
Yeah,
can sign up and they'll get like is it booster packs coming out, right? It's just boosters
boosters.
first?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
so
they've
it's
changed the
9
whole
cards per
formula.
pack.
Yeah, they changed the whole
Yeah.
formula. Now boosters used to be 9 cards, but now it's going to be 12 cards. So there's an extra slot for mythic, legendary, epic, rare slot, and then there's just
Oh, cool.
obviously another common or a couple
That's
commons.
great.
So yeah.
So yeah, then I will probably I hadn't mentioned to him yet, but I'll probably try to do my ranked tournament like on drop day, like that evening.
Sick.
And
That's awesome. Yeah, I love it.
yeah, it should be fun. I got to make a post about it. So,
No, yeah, definitely
so
get on that, man. Everyone needs to be posting. Just don't make sure you communicate it. Don't do what some of us other people that throw on tournaments do and don't get all the information correct yet. So,
yeah,
but
post
anyway,
first, ask us later.
but with that, everybody in everybody in the chat or whatever in the viewing, make sure you keep an eye out for Evan's tournaments. Again, Evan from Big Top Gaming's. We appreciate having you on WWB. Definitely would love to have you come on again. And like I said, we're really gonna try to promote as many card store owners as we can. I'm gonna definitely be reaching out to them. But with that, that's gonna be episode 51 of WWB. You guys have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.